Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sean Sullivan, and this is programming project number 2 demo for COP 3330C, section 24217. For this assignment, we have been asked to pull this up, create an interface with two common methods to be implemented by a parent class, then create a parent class with at least 3 attributes that have at least 2 unique data types. Additionally, we need a parent class that should have 2 other custom methods that can be overridden by the child classes. The first method needs to be a calculation of some sort based on user input. The second should change an attribute of the object that it's called upon based on user input. Next, we need to create 2 unique child classes that extend the parent class and override all the methods available to the parent class in a unique way. Those 4 methods that we're overriding are 2 from the interface and 2 from the parent class itself. After that, all classes should include an overridden toString method that includes the parent class and the child classes that displays the information the object and the object's attributes. So what I chose to do was motor vehicles. So here's an interface for motor vehicle actions. The first method called is the public method start that returns a string. We've got the public method accelerate that also returns a string. Vehicle start, obviously, and vehicle accelerates. Now, our parent class is motor vehicle. It is abstract and implements the motor vehicle actions interface that we just created. We've created a scanner class to catch those user inputs that we're required to take. The motor vehicle class has 5 attributes: an integer tank size class or attribute, a string make, string model, integer year, and string color. So we've met our requirements of 2 different data types and at least 3 attributes. Next is the constructor for motor vehicles. It accepts all of the attributes as arguments and then sets that object attributes to those arguments based on the corresponding argument. Next are getters and setters for the motor vehicle class that cover all of the attributes of the motor vehicle class. We've got our gets, tank size, make, model, year, color, and then our sets, tank size, make, model, year, and color. Next, I chose to create 2 unique methods for the motor vehicle parent class. The first is calculate MPG. This method calculates the motor vehicle's miles per gallon based on the tank size and a user input of miles of fuel, or miles per refuel, I'm sorry. You divide the first by the second, so that would be miles per refuel divided by the tank size to get miles per gallon. And here we have a prompt to get the user to enter the miles you drive per tank of gas. That is caught by the scanner and saved in the integer variable miles. Then we calculate an integer variable MPG by dividing miles by the object's tank size, and then it returns a string. Your motor vehicle gets MPG, miles per gallon. Next, paint job. We'll change the color attribute of the vehicle based on the user's input and return a string confirming the change. So here we have public method returns a string, paint job. We have a prompt on the console, enter the color you want to paint your motor vehicle. We next have a string variable color that catches the input entered by the user with the scanner. Next, we use the set color method for the object to set the color to it, and then return a string that's awesome. You painted your motor vehicle color with an exclamation point. And lastly, the required overridden toString method for the parent motor vehicle class that explains or that gives all the information about the different attributes of a motor vehicle object. So my 2 child classes. First, we have motorcycle. It uses the super method to create the constructor motorcycle. Next, we have our overridden methods from the parent class in the interface. The start method prints out the information or the attributes of the motorcycle to the console, and then follows up with motorcycle starts with a smooth kickstart. Next, we have the accelerate method, overridden to return all of the attributes of the motorcycle and rumbles and accelerates as you twist the grip throttle! Exclamation point. Next, calculate MPG method is overridden to prompt the same. I think I actually changed it to per tank. Next, we grab the miles from the input. We calculate the MPG using miles from the user and the get tank size method for the object. And then we return a specific statement for motorcycles. Your motorcycle's calculated MPG is MPG plus miles per gallon. Next, we have the paint job method that's overridden to specifically use motorcycle related language. So enter the color you want to paint your motorcycle. We grab the color from the scanner. In the user's input, we set the color of that object using the set color method. And then we return, nice, you painted your motorcycle this color. Maybe add some flames and skulls next time. And that is unique to the motorcycle class. Lastly, our overridden toString method that specifically displays the attributes of the motorcycle class and calls out motorcycle specifically. Our second child class is semi-trucks. We went to the other end of the spectrum. So in this class, we have the constructor. We have no unique attributes, but the constructor uses the super method to call on the motor vehicle constructor to instantiate any objects for the semi-truck class. Next, we have the overridden start method. Returns a string, and it returns your plus the attributes for a semi-truck. And semi-truck starts with a loud roar and a cloud of exhaust, which is different from that motorcycle method that gets a smooth kickstart. Next, we have the accelerate method that's overridden, and it uses semi-truck language. Your plus all of the attributes of the semi-truck called upon. Semi-truck jerks and shakes as you shift the gears and accelerate. Next, we have our overridden calculate MPG method. For this one, we're going to calculate the MPG, how many miles you ride per tank. So we went ahead and got the miles just like before from the scanner entry input. We calculated MPG from miles plus the get tank size method. And then lastly, we return your semi-truck calculated MPG is MPG, miles per gallon. Good thing you have multiple tanks. And that is the end of that overridden method. Next, the paint job method. Similar to the motorcycle method, we have prompt to what you want to paint your semi-truck. We grab the user's input and store it in the color variable. We set that variable to the color for the object using the set color method. And then we return, nice, you painted your semi-truck plus color plus. Now make sure you keep it clean. And that should print to the console. And lastly, we have our overridden toString method that's required to display all of the information about the semi-truck object it's called upon. Now, lastly is our main method. I named it vehicle app. Has our problem description as well as information about myself, the class, and the date, and an explanation of the input. So for the motorcycle input below in the main class, or in the main method, I should say, I'm going to be inputting 200 in the calculate MPG method, and that should return a value of 40 based on the object that I instantiated having a 5-gallon tank here for the motorcycle Harley. Next, the paint job method should change the original color and display the change to the console based on the object that is called upon. So we'll be calling that paint job method on both the Harley and the Peterbilt. I'll be entering in a color for each of those, and then the console will display that change afterward, showing that the color has been changed. And for the semi-truck, I'll be giving an input of 2100 and should receive an output of 7 miles per gallon on that one. So we're going to go ahead and run this program. Here we have our main method, our instantiation of the motorcycle class, our instantiation of the Peterbilt class. We have polymorphism displayed by creating an array of motor vehicles that contains the Harley and the Peterbilt motorcycle and semi-truck that are children of a motor vehicle class. Then we're going to use a for loop to loop through these vehicles in this array and call each of the methods that these classes contain. So we'll toString first and display the information about the vehicle. We'll call the start method. We'll call the accelerate method. We'll call the calculate MPG method. This will require that prompt or that input from the user, and we'll call the paint job method that will require input from the user. And then lastly, we will call the toString method one more time so that we can display the information about that method, or that to show that the paint job method worked. I'm sorry. So let's go ahead and run this, see what happens. As you can see, I already tested it once. Get big here. All right, so run. Compiling. All right. Let's ignore that. So you can see we've displayed our information about our motorcycle. It started with a smooth kickstart. Our black Harley-Davidson electric guide rumbles and accelerates when we call the accelerate method. We're going to go ahead and give that how many miles did you ride on one tank. We're going to go ahead and enter 200. Should return 40 miles per gallon. Perfect. Your motorcycle calculated MPG is 40 miles per gallon. Enter the color you want to paint your motorcycle. Let's go with red. So your motorcycle, so nice, you painted your motorcycle red. Maybe add some flames and skulls next time. And then we print our motorcycle's information one more time to show that it did in fact change the color from black to red. And here we have our semi-truck. toString shows our tank size and all the relevant attributes. We've got the start method called here. Starts with a loud roar and a cloud of exhaust. Then you have the accelerate method. This particular object, semi-truck, jerks and shakes as you shift gears and accelerate. Now we're going to calculate the MPG. So I said I would enter 2100 and should receive a value of 7 MPG printed back out. Calculated MPG is 7 miles per gallon. Good thing you have multiple tanks. Perfect. Lastly, what inner color I want to paint my semi-truck. Let's go with brown. And it should display brown and then also show that change in the print statement. So nice, you painted your semi-truck brown. Exactly what we wanted. Now make sure you keep it clean. And then we've got the toString method one more time showing that the color was in fact changed to brown. Thank you for tuning in and listening. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me at any time. Thank you.